Hello and welcome. Today's episode, it's all about the lead generation secret that nobody talks about. It's also really linked to the death of marketing and the rise of PR. And do you know what? The older you are, the less you tend to know about this. And I am speaking from experience. I am a 51-year-old woman and I love this stuff, right? But I grew up where traditional advertising worked, and it doesn't work so much. We see the rise of the influencer. We see the rise of PR, and nobody wants to be marketed to. We see the rise of third-party endorsement, and this episode has a lot to do with that as well. I am also welcoming on a PR superstar, a marketing superstar, whose results and reputation speak for themselves. And so this episode will definitely help all of us to do better in business. So please do tune in. You've tuned into the Better in Business podcast, and I'm your host, Jeannie Savage. I'm a multi-award winning business veteran and head of the Strategic Bookkeeper Network. My network of strategic bookkeepers is dedicated to helping entrepreneurs do better in business. This podcast aims to challenge your thinking. If you're not thinking the right way, how can you act the right way? Each episode will dive into key drivers of success, which I also call the rules of the game. Learn the rules and play to win. Let's go. I like to start every episode by reminding you that it is globally recognized that pillar number one for success is up-to-date, accurate bookkeeping, which is the only way you can see how your business is performing in terms of profit and cash. If your books aren't right up to date, visit betterinbusiness.global, drop me a line and I'll connect you with a certified strategic bookkeeper. Fire your bookkeeper and hire a strategic bookkeeper. Bookkeeping is a cost, whereas strategic bookkeeping is an investment that averages a 10x return on the fees. Karen Hall is the founder and director of Reputation by Design, a specialist marketing agency that does just that, helps businesses proactively grow their reputations through social media management, awards submission writing, and online optimization. Karen has over 25 years in marketing across Australia and New Zealand services businesses, and her team and clients now span the Americas, UK, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. The team helps its clients win awards and is also a multi-award winning business itself, having over 190 five-star Google and online reviews, being announced as the winner of the 2022 Prestige Global Awards Marketing Firm of the Year for Australia and the 2022 National Winner of the Australian Achiever Awards for Marketing, Advertising and PR. Welcome to the show, Karen, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I am really excited to have you here because I do love everything that you do. Specifically, I love that your focus is really, really clear. So you're all about reputation, building it, maintaining it, and leveraging it in order to do better in business. I feel like it's a bit of a subject with some mystery around it that a lot of business owners, and including myself in the past, and you've done really well to educate me, feel like, what the heck is that? Is it really important to me? I'm only a small business. I don't think I need that. And I definitely know myself that it's something that is important, and it's not as hard as everyone probably thinks. It's not reserved for Apple and Coca-Cola. Yeah, that it's something we can all do. And I'm here to learn from you today as well about lead generation secret no one talks about.
Yeah, 100%. So I guess just touching on that reputation piece, a lot of people do think about, when things go wrong with reputation. Picking up the pieces when your reputation is tarnished. We, on the other hand, help small business owners proactively build their reputations. So we were talking previously just about, award submissions and really harnessing the leverage that you can, garner and build through winning awards. So that's an example of proactively building your reputation. It's kind of the other side of the coin from reputation damage. And we love focusing on the proactive side of reputation building. The more you can do that, the more you can get out and leverage your brand and build your brand that way. If something bad was to ever happen, you've got that bank of positivity to draw on. If nothing bad ever happens for your brand, guess what? You've got that, beautiful bank to draw on as well and leverage and build your brand off. With that in mind, that's why we love it, because it's all about proactivity and the steps a business owner can take to do that. And today, I wanted to share some secrets that no one talks about in terms of just lead generation. I guess we have conversations with clients and prospects every day. They say, my Facebook leads aren't working like they used to, or, how do I spend money to get more leads? And we try and talk them, we come back from spending money on leads to what else can they do to layer their marketing to generate leads and particularly, brand activity as well, but also leads, that's not necessarily about spending money on Facebook or Google ads. So I wanted to share some of those secrets today that work really, really well across so many different industries. Jeannie, they'd work for yours, they work for ours, they work for products businesses as well. So one of them, not surprisingly, because we've just spoken about it, is entering awards. And, even if you become a finalist or if you're lucky enough to win awards, the leverage out of that can be absolutely fabulous. So entering awards is not something that's necessarily top of mind for people when you talk about lead generation. Wouldn't, come on people's top 10 list, but it can be an amazing tool in the layering effect of, building brands and generating leads. We have hundreds of clients now that we've won awards for that can absolutely attribute lead generation and partnering success. And I know you've got a story on that, but certainly, award-winning brands, there's a statistic, they can increase their revenue 67% more than non-award-winning brands. So, and that's bottom line revenue. So if you are looking for really positive and unique ways to build brand, but also lead generation, it's like the old wine bottle trick. You walk into a bottle shop, you're not quite sure which bottle of wine you want. You are going to be attracted to the ones that have the award-winning logos on them. There's a lot of credibility and trust that comes with award-winning badges and logos. So, start with industry awards. And as you yourself are doing, Jeannie, be quite, selective about the awards that you win and leverage those wins as well.
Yeah, I think the leverage is the thing, right? And that's something I like about your agency. So not having to be a total expert in this and listening to you talking about the layering effect and this kind of thing, because one thing Karen did for me is I can reach out to Karen and I can say, well, she gets to know me, and then it's like, well, what kind of awards would Jeannie want to go for? And then she can let me know what she thinks the meaningful awards for me, for my industry are as well. But then if we do get a finalist or a winning position, which we've had both, and you get the media pack with it, then Karen can help you as little or as much as you like with how you would go about leveraging that in the digital world to help people build that know, like, and trust, which I love, because a lot of business owners are really in kindergarten when it comes to this stuff. So you can get that support. And as Karen said, the last couple of years, I've been top 3 bookkeeper for Australia, which is massive. I feel when I got that, it was just for a personal achievement to say, oh my goodness, how many Xero bookkeepers, and I got top 3. And then Women in Finance Australia was another one that was really important to me. I am Women in Finance Bookkeeper of the Year. It's always really humbling too, isn't it? And I love to share with just a personal post with my friends on social media, not the badges, not the media pack, but just to say, I got Women in Finance Bookkeeper of the Year, and you'll get 200 friends celebrate with you. Like a friend said to me, oh, Jeannie, do you have any capacity to take on new clients? Which is always a great question because we have wait lists from time to time. And he said, could we have a little chat, and reach out and we can talk about that. But exactly what you said, in a world where we have to be competitive competitive and help our customers with a reason why they would want to choose us. It gives us a competitive advantage. So for me too, with what Karen said about partners, I mean, partners, and Karen can talk to you about that offline as well. But our partners have sent emails to their national teams about our awards, which builds their trust in us as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's super important. I mean, partners get you away from that, winning one client at a time to, multiple clients at a time. So that's definitely a lead generation secret as well. But yeah, if people can celebrate you and pass on that you are an award-winning business, that credibility and that leveraging effect just amplifies. So that would definitely be one that's a little bit out of the box, that's doesn't come up when people naturally talk about lead generation, but I would definitely advocate for it just for that differentiating factor, as we've spoken.
Yeah, so that's your first one. What's your second?
Another one so a lot of clients that we speak to, again, every single day, or most business owners now, are online on socials, but they don't necessarily understand the importance of being optimized for keywords and sections on those. So as an example, LinkedIn has a lot of sections that you have to add to your profile. And if you add those, you can be found by a lot more people. So a classic example is there's a publication section that you can add on LinkedIn. And that if you fill out that publication section with any media mentions that you've received, you can be found by up to 7 times more people than if you don't have that publication section. Another example of optimizing LinkedIn is the title field. Most people would use that for their job title, but that field in and of itself is 47% more important to be found by your target audience than any other field on LinkedIn. So instead of me just putting in Director of Reputation by Design, I should fill that field with all of the search terms that people would actually be looking for my business. So for us, that would be award writing, graphic design, copywriting, social media management, because no one's on LinkedIn, if you think about it, looking for the word director or founder. That's not what they're searching for. They're looking for the services or the products. So that title field is the most important field on LinkedIn, but it needs to be filled with those keywords around your services and your products, not just your job title, because no one's searching for that. So the second kind of secret to be found by more people and therefore have the opportunity for more eyeballs and more conversion is actually to discover or get an expert to help you optimize all of the social media channels that you're on. So LinkedIn's the perfect one for that. There are so many fields on LinkedIn that can be optimized for keywords, suburbs, products, and you can also add so many sections to really bolster how you're found and by whom. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and Google Business Profile would be another one that needs a lot of attention just in terms of the setup and the optimization for it to be, again, found by the most amount of people possible that are your target audience. So it's no point in just having a Google Business Profile, which used to be called Google My Business, without having all of those set up done well. You will limit the number of people that find you if you don't set that up well.
Really interesting. And what's your third? Did you say you had 3 tips?
Yeah. So, the third tip is around Google Business Profile. So it's the one that shows up on maps and search on the right-hand side. If you searching for vet near me or bookkeeper near me or, marketing agency Sydney, and a lot of businesses haven't yet taken this seriously. I guess the tip is to really, and it's a tip to be found on the first page of Google without paying for Google Ads. Make sure that you've got a Google Business Profile set up and that it is optimized, again, for all of those keywords, that you've got all of the sections filled out, you've got all of your suburb names entered, etc. And by suburb names, if you're a local business, you would go right down to suburb level. If you work at a national level, you can have all of the states entered, so New South Wales, Queensland, etc., etc. If you are an international business like we are, then we list all of the countries or the regions that we service. So it can work at a very local area marketing level, or it can work at an international level as well. And getting voluminous reviews on it is one of the most important things you can do to get found by the most people possible, so get ranked highly. Google will not publish the information, but from experience, we find that once you get to about 100 reviews, there's a bit of a tipping point for ranking. And then once you get to over 150, there seems to be another tipping point. We have clients with over 400 reviews and a couple with even over 800 reviews. And they get over 70% of their new business through Google Business Profile.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, and they know that because they ask, so how did you hear about us? And it's through Google, and they're not paying for Google Ads. So it's obviously a free platform, apart from a little bit of setup, which either takes time or you can pay someone to really optimize that for you. But once it's up and firing, a little bit of effort to, make sure that you've got a process in place to ask for as many reviews as possible, making sure they're all positive, obviously. And once that's up and firing and you're getting those reviews, you're replying to the reviews, you can get a heck of a lot of lead generation effectively for free, whilst also showcasing a very positive brand for anyone that Googles you.
It's interesting. Prior to COVID, we were generating a lot of inquiries through Google My Business. And it's kind of a testament to how things changed. For whatever reason, that changed when COVID hit. We saw a change in it. We didn't get as many inquiries through Google. It's interesting what you say. We have very much pivoted from offering services locally to offering services nationally. We were always working on Zoom and in the cloud. Definitely, I spoke to Google on the phone and they didn't give me that tip around states. They were, just pop Australia in or otherwise go local. So it's interesting that you have that tip around states and you have that tip around countries, but the team at Google didn't have that tip. I think things change so quickly.
They do. And you've always got to be across all of the social media platforms, and I'd include Google in that, Google Business Profile in that. You've got to keep up to date with the trends, or at least be tapped into someone that is, because we attend training weekly on social media, at least weekly, and things are changing every time you log in, I would say.
Oh, okay. And so I was going to kind of comment or ask, things have changed rapidly. They are changing rapidly. And these days, we're in this digital era where if I want to get to know a business, I really want to get to know them online in my own time, in my own location, without anyone in my face. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to be able to go online at 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night, Google some people, have a look at what they do. I want to look at lots of businesses. So I think that's where you talk about, making sure that you're optimized online. Then I want to read all about them. I don't want to ring them anymore. I don't really want to send a contact form. I want the information at my fingertips, like you said, in LinkedIn, in social media, on the website. And interesting how things have changed from, remember only a few years ago, it feels like the first place we went was the website. And I feel like that's not the first place we go now.
Yeah, I mean, websites are still important, I guess, for SEO and for some people. So people will use online differently. It sounds like you'll do more research across multiple platforms. Some people will still go to the website, or it's important for some businesses to have a good SEO website, or if people are reading deeply. So it does depend on the industry. If people are reading deeply on topics. So we have some dentists that really specialize into some niche treatments, and they'll want some very kind of deep information there for parents of some children with some niche treatment options. So it depends on industry, I would say, but definitely, again, back to that, the word around layering, it's really important to have quite a few different channels that are optimized and up to date for how different people use online now. So we all take in information differently, and what will suit one person will not suit the other person. And it depends on the channels that you're actually au fait with as well. So I will go to LinkedIn a lot to find out about businesses and people, because I'm very au fait with LinkedIn, whereas some people will not spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. So they probably won't, have an affinity to go there kind of first. So it's what we're familiar with that we will go to as well. Websites still definitely have a place, but I would say it's quite industry specific now as well.
And the other thing I've noticed with business owners is that businesses who have built, a nice reputation, but they haven't put as much effort into the assets. Sometimes and if you're listening, if you're in the audience, part of my charter is to challenge your thinking because I want to challenge what you think to make sure you're thinking right so you can act right. And one thing is, oh, yes, but you know what? We're busy because we're busy with word of mouth. We don't need any of this because I know, right? But the thing is, if you think about, I think about the way that we work. So let's say I go and say, does anyone know, a gardener? Does anybody know a landscaper or something? And someone says, yes, Jeannie, or 3 people, I know these people. What's the next thing we do? We don't just ring them. We go online to verify them. Again, a lot of these things, they're very different now to what they were 2, 3, 4 years ago. So 3, 4 years ago, we put 0 effort into social media for the bookkeeping practice of what I do. These days, we recognise that without consistency in our messaging on social media, businesses are not going to see us as, they might think that they can't verify us if we're inconsistent. If we have a post once a month or something was there for months, they might think, are they even in business anymore? Or if they're, not able to do that, how good are they really across everything? So it's just that if you've built your business on word of mouth, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I had this exact situation happen to me. So we're doing some landscaping and I asked our chippy, do you know a good landscaper that I can get some pavers from? And he said, oh, yeah, go to this place. And so the first thing I did is look them up online and their website was terrible. It wasn't even, it wouldn't even render for the phone. And it hardly had any products listed, etc. And I couldn't find them in any other way, shape or form on any other socials. So I kind of gave up on them. And next time the chippy turned up, he said, oh, did you go and see this business? I went, no, there was nothing on their website that, and I wanted. He said, no, they're just old school. You have to go to the yard. And if I hadn't bumped into them again, I just wouldn't have bothered. I would have written them off and gone somewhere else. So luckily I did, but I had literally written them off otherwise because they had exactly what I wanted in the end, but I wouldn't have known that from their online presence at all. So it was only by chance that I had a second conversation with the referrer in that case. Otherwise I would have gone somewhere else.
I saw that with an accountant as well. So I referred to an accountant. As you can imagine, I have occasion to refer to accountants. And he's a great accountant. And the client said, we went online, we looked at his website, and we just were not impressed with his website. They said, Jeannie, the only reason we're giving him a meeting is because you referred him, but we're not starting off on the right. They didn't feel like first impression was there. Then they went and had the meeting. This is a brilliant accountant, but do you know what? That first impression stuck. And so they met with another accountant who is no better, possibly not even as good, right? And they went with the other accountant because the first impression was more dazzling. And it just, I think, hopefully everyone knows the Kodak story. I probably mention that every day. Don't have your own Kodak moment. You do just what you were doing 2, 3, 4 years ago. Wish it was as simple as just status quo.
Oh, gosh, yes, true. I mean, a lot of your followers and things would have a growth mindset as well. I hate feeling stagnant myself. So, we need to keep moving. Just on that point as well, our brains trust reviews a lot less when they're more than 3 months old. So keep your reviews up to date is the takeaway from there. So if your review's, more than 3 months old and someone jumps on to check you out, now that's across Google Business Profile, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. If they're more than 3 months old from today's date, we go, oh, that's old news. I wonder how they're performing today. So 3 months is a short window, right? So I would have thought it would have been a bit longer, but that's what the research says. So just make sure you're always asking for new reviews and keep them on cycle.
Really interesting. And so that brings me to the same thing with awards, right? And you told me this one day, and then once you told me, I saw how I do it. So I go to a restaurant and it says, for example, winner of the 2017 Restaurant of the Year. And I think, well, what happened the last few years? Are you guys no good anymore? And then I go to the next door.
Yeah.
I know I didn't realize that I was in that loop as well. You know, sometimes it's hard to get outside our square. So that made me see, oh, well, that's the importance of making sure that we keep that reputation going year on year with the meaningful. You know, I've got a girlfriend that won 9 last year. Amazing. I've won 2 meaningful awards. It doesn't have to be a squillion of them. Whatever is going to work for you, and Karen works with you on that. So I think up-to-date awards as well, right?
100%. I mean, you can take a year off from time to time, but 2017's way, I wouldn't be showing anything from kind of, much older than that. If you've got recent ones, it just raises a question. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think good way to look at this is take your business owner hat off kind of thing. Put your I'm a consumer client hat on, and then just watch your own behavior. Because I do that from time to time, and I'm like, oh, wow. Map your own customer journey, like exactly what we talked about. I need X service or product. What did I actually just do, And then the same, like I love gelato. And I always look for the gelato store that has the recent awards for their gelato.
It can be very subconscious behavior as well.
Yes, that's why I think it's good to observe yourself doing it, because we're just doing it on autopilot without realizing.
Yeah, we have to, because we're taking in so many messages. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. So the next thing I'd love to, because I feel like we've covered off a few really great stories, but even as I listen to you, Karen, I just want to know, considering, 3 areas that are really key for you and how you help businesses do better in business is through reputation, obviously, but linked to awards, optimization of yourself online broadly, because it's not just your website, and social media management. But I know you can help business owners a little bit, a medium bit, a lot. What is the best way to kind of start the journey with you in terms of a conversation or a health check or anything that kind of says, here's where I am now. I know I need to get better and maintain things. How can Karen help me?
Yeah, so call me for a discovery call, and we'll go through what are the challenges, what are the pain points. And because one removed from your business and we are in these spheres every day, I can be objective about the business and give you some new and fresh ideas. So that's what I love about helping businesses the most, is get you out of, your day-to-day and really, again, like you said, challenge the thinking that's going on today, or the points where you might be a little bit stuck or just want a fresh perspective. So it starts with a discovery call, and then I have a really robust discussion around, what some options might be, and formulate those with you.
Great. Okay. So whether you're a plumber, you're a physio, any kind of business, you can help them?
Okay. 100%. Yeah. We help businesses from cybersecurity to prosthetic eyes to landscaping to finance to bookkeeping and everything in between.
Amazing. I love hearing all this. I'll put everything in the show notes, but if you just tell everyone your website so they can Google you as well.
Yes, so it's reputationbydesign.com.
Okay, fabulous. All right, Karen, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all your insights. I think a lot of people like me, they might listen to it a second time, make some notes. It was so helpful for me, and I'm sure the whole audience.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I enjoyed recording it. I would love to help you start doing better in business right now by giving you a free little ebook. It's a how-to guide. It's called The 7 Deadly Cash Flow Sins. And also I've developed a business health check for you. It's super high value. Both are available at betterinbusiness.global. If you would like to fire your bookkeeper and hire a strategic bookkeeper to start enjoying a return on investment and get the support you need to optimize your business cash and profit and time well, simply visit betterinbusiness.global, drop me a line, and I'll connect you with a certified strategic bookkeeper near you. I'll see you in the next episode.